Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Visual Wilderness Show. We are here tonight with Johnny Spencer, Brent Mail, Michael Hall, and of course the amazing Jay Patel. I think that's his name. Yeah, that's right. And I am Varina Patel, as always. So we're going to talk tonight about our most recent assignment from Visual Wilderness, and we have an announcement to make, and we're going to do some critiques, and what else?
That's it. I mean, this is the critique show, and then our next show is actually coming up very soon, which is on Monday, which is like 2 days from now, and the amazing Lightroom expert Johnny Spencer is going to be showing us all kinds of tips and tricks, and convince me to use Lightroom.
That might be difficult, Jay, but we call Johnny the Lightroom Ninja.
This is a challenge.
Post-processing has become fun once again. We love Lightroom.
That's right. All right, so let's get started. What I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to share my screen, and I have a couple of images here. Once again, these images are from the what was it, October or November? The November assignment, which was reflections. So let's see, could everyone see my screen there?
Yeah, but do you want to make the announcement first before we get into this?
Sure thing. Yeah.
Right.
Why don't you go ahead, Jay?
All right, so we have good news and bad news. The bad news I'm going to get out of the way, and I think we will send this out in our monthly updates for December. This is going to be our last assignment. We don't have enough participation in the assignments to continue this.
Yeah.
So what we'll do is we will not do any more assignments. However, the forum will remain open, and there are other plans that we're making to use the forums for, which will be announced shortly. If everybody agrees, and I think I want feedback on the forum, so when we put up the next monthly roundup, I'm going to suggest that in the forums we put up challenges that people can work on their own and submit it inside the forum rather than having a formal assignments. And then we can see how many people can make the challenges, and for whatever challenge come up with, we'll just throw up saying shooting waterfalls. So people can just showcase their amazing waterfall shots and tell us how they took them. So yep. We'll go ahead with
and
that.
One of the things that we've been thinking about too is having Visual Wilderness members post their challenges for other members. So that's an option as well, and we may go that way.
Yep. So, but no more assignments. Formal assignment takes quite a bit of time for us to set it up and get everything ready, and then if you were getting like 30 to 50 participants every month, it would be worth it. So anyway, if it gets revived and if there's enough interest later down the road, we have no problems in revisiting this issue. But for now, we will put a hold on it, and then let's see how it goes. So, sweetheart, I will turn it over to you to
Alrighty. So this shot, if you can see it on my screen there, this is from Andrew Whistler. And this is a shot that stood out to me because of the beautiful light. You know, one of the things that makes reflection photos remarkable is light. Almost always, right? I guess it is light that's being reflected, and of course you can interpret this in a lot of ways. Light is I mean, colors are reflected light. Anything we're looking at reflected light. So I suppose a photograph of just about anything would have qualified for this assignment. But most of you sort of understood that we were looking for a little bit more than that. So this is a great example from Andrew Whistler. The reflection on the pond, the very smooth surface of the water is just lovely. One of the things that came up in the critique on Visual Wilderness was that Andrew felt that this image was a little bit unbalanced. He felt that the left side was pretty heavy, the right side didn't have quite as much going on. And Jay, I think it was you who recommended some kind of foreground element on the right-hand side. So, you know, I think that's a neat idea. I also happen to love the reflected clouds in the water, which are very, very subtle here, but such a beautiful part of the image. and the very slight rays of the sun up there in the sky that are, again, very subtle, but really very beautiful.
I agree. I think I recommended a foreground element in this image because I felt like it would make a stronger composition, specifically, especially if the foreground element was put on the right side of the image, because it would, but not cover up the clouds, because I do agree with Marina that the clouds are great.
So I think the key would be to toss Andrew into the water, have him stand very still. Andrew, you have to stand in here. Don't move. Don't create any ripples on the surface, and be your own foreground element. Maybe yoga, some kind of interesting pose. Okay, I'm kidding.
I was actually going to suggest that what happens if you take a pebble and right before you're about to fire the shot, throw the pebble in the water on the right side, and as the ripples expand before they reach the tree line.
Yeah.
The shutter release.
Yeah, that would be good.
I like that.
That would be an awesome sort of like a creative. You create your own foreground element, kind of.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I really like that. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Should we go to the next one?
All right. Does anybody else have anything they want to add about this image?
Yeah, I'll have a go. With the balance being too heavy to the left, how about if Andrew decides to make it an abstract and turn it vertical, and then you've sort of got that symmetry left and right, so it's more of a balance, something completely different, that's all.
Oh, yeah, I like that idea.
Yeah, so the main tree line on the bottom and going vertical might be interesting.
Yeah,
I actually like that idea, because that brightly lit tree in the center sort of stands out so nicely.
Creates a nice point of interest there.
Let me try that. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. I like it.
Nice.
Very good. It's a bit of a Rorschach test. Any of these reflection images sort of feel like an ink blot test. What do you see if you look at it with your head turned to the side? You know, what's happening here? Looks like a reindeer.
The camera's off.
All right, let's take a look at the next one. This is a shot from Jenny Wolf, and I chose to bring this one to the table tonight because there's something about it that really appeals to me, and that is the idea that you have this this hot air balloon that's up in the air, but the view in the water is actually providing more information about the air itself than the air is. Does that make sense? The reflected sky is just really incredible here, with the balloon floating into it, and I love that.
Yeah, there is no other sky in it except for the reflected sky, which is just fantastic. I mean, I love this image.
Yeah.
My only take on this image was, hey, that little strip of land looked like it accidentally crept in the image rather than it was actually placed there.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like an afterthought. I agree, Jay. I would cut this. I would crop it more closely. I would actually crop the land on the left. I would crop the land on the bottom. Might even crop a little of the land on the top, though not too much, because I don't want to crowd the balloon.
Correct.
Yeah.
And my other feedback to Jenny was that, hey, the balloon in the reflection is slightly darker. If she could lighten it up, you would actually bring out those colors that are just brilliant on the top.
Yeah, I agree. So who else has something they want to add about that one?
Can I add something?
Of course.
You know what I really like about this shot? It's a balloon shot taken from a balloon.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys realize that, but she's in the balloon shooting a balloon. And I agree with Jay, the little strip of land at the bottom, I'd crop that out.
Yeah.
The balloon looks a little darker in the reflected water. And I'd also leave a little more land on top of the balloon, just so it's not right at the top, you know. But a great image, you know. I'd love to get up in a balloon with Jenny and photograph scenes like this. And it's such a still morning, it looks like. There's no ripple on the lake, and the reflection is unbelievable. And that's those little bits of wispy clouds actually lead your eye into the balloon, so that another leading line, I think. at the from the bottom left coming into the balloon. So great image, Jenny.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
And one thing I love doing, and this is a Lightroom thing, guys, is I grab the radial filter tool, I would chuck it over the balloon there, and I'd probably pump the exposure by just 0.3 or something like that. And with a little vignette on the outside and creating like a little spotlight effect over that balloon, I think once it's cropped at the bottom as well, it's just going to focus your eye directly on the balloon. And you could even open the shadows by a couple of points as well, and it'd bring out that reflection there as well. So, yeah, beautiful image, but I think, yeah, just refocusing that light so that your eye does just pop straight onto that balloon, that would change things a little bit for me as well.
I like that. I like that idea. Okay, so now, Johnny, I know you're the one who's the best at turning your head over and upside down, but who thinks that turning this image over, completely flipping it over, would make it an interesting shot? What do you think?
That'd be wicked. Wicked. I like it.
Yeah, I love that. And I think
rotate
we should. And yeah, I think it would be really, really interesting, actually, especially if you cropped in a little bit more, because then someone wouldn't actually know what's going on. It would be like, hold on, the balloon's floating, but there's a balloon upside down on the ground.
Right.
I would have my suggestion, sweetheart, was to make the reflection the entire image. So zoom in, so there is no land, just the wispy cloud and a balloon upside down.
Okay, that would be interesting too.
And then, because there is enough material to go by, and then put it up and say, all right, what do you think this is?
Yeah. So. Okay, Jenny, I think you have a whole series to work with here now.
Well, next time she goes up in the air.
That's right. So much you could do. Oh, I love this. I love it. Yeah. You know what? It's a fun shot. I think it really made all of us think and sort of play with the idea, which means it had really good impact.
Agreed.
So, yeah.
All right, next one.
Okay.
So we wanted to welcome Clint Birkinshaw, who is a master contributor and great fine arts and travel photographer. So welcome, Clint. We're just doing the critique, so you can feel free to share your opinion as you see the images go by.
Thanks, guys. Sorry I'm a little bit late. I got here as fast as I could.
Nah, no big deal. We're happy to have you. So, all right, we've just been critiquing some photos here. So we're now on this shot from Marika, and this one is a little bit small. I'm sorry, this is the largest size that was available, so it's a little small on my screen. But I think that it has something going for it in the reflection, but I feel like the image overall is a little bit underexposed in the foreground. It doesn't have quite the same impact that the other images we've been looking at have had, and I really wish that I could just take a few steps forward and get this shot so that cloud that's reflected in the water is not covered by the grasses in the foreground. So I feel like there is some improvement that could be done here. Maybe a little bit of a crop. The left side of the image is pretty empty. There's some dead space over there. I wouldn't mind losing some of that. What do you guys think?
I would have, like I said, a couple of steps forward just to get that cloud in the clear water, but also zoom in more, and so that that cloud and the reverse image of the cloud, and then from the left of that is the image, not the rest of it. Because that'd be really symmetrical, and that'd be nice then. But yeah, just to get the exposure a bit more correct, that's all.
Yeah, and can I add to that, Michael? I think with this image, I'm not sure if she used a circular polarizing filter, but if she didn't, I think she should, because that would really separate the clouds from the sky, and that'd be more impactful.
Yeah, that circular polarizer might make them really pop in the sky.
I would also. I'd probably. I don't know what the front of the foreground was like there. That you could, but maybe even get like a little bit closer with your feet to the water. There's probably some. I don't know. Create a bit more of a leading line using that curvature of the foreground, and maybe up the horizon a little bit like that. Include a bit more of the foreground for the photo to make it kind of compositionally more exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that idea. I like the idea of a leading line because that's always the first thing I think of when I see that curving edge of a lake.
yeah. So I think there are two things that I think, if I summarize everybody's input, is the composition can be improved,
Hmm.
and the exposure can be improved. But I also think that the grass and the colors or the lack of colors is not quite adding to the photo as well.
Yeah.
So by eliminating some of the grass and just leaving it as little as possible and putting the blue and the white, um, filling up the image with that would probably be a better shot.
Yeah, unfortunately, when you have an underexposed area in your photo, what happens is it's not only the brightness that is affected, the colors are also affected. So with
Right.
underexposure like this, you get very dull colors, and that's what's happening with the grass here. You really can't even tell what color it is, if it's more of a green, if it's more of a brown color. It's just lost in the image. Yeah.
All right, nice one.
Yeah. All right. I think. Oh, yes. This is Oleg Myrov. I'm sorry, I've probably completely butchered that. And one of these days I should just email Oleg and say, how do you pronounce your name? Which would be a nice thing to do. But anyway, I love the colors in this shot. That blue is just to die for. The greens are gorgeous. There's a little bit of yellow on the left, which is also lovely, although I think it's a bit of a distraction from the image as a whole. To me, the first thing I would do with this image is shift a little bit so that the reflection of the house isn't quite up against the edge of the frame. I feel like it feels a little bit cut off. So I might try and shift to the right a little bit, which would also get rid of that bright yellow on the left, which feels like a distraction. I think the inclusion of the bench is kind of interesting. But I feel like the window in the water is the point of interest here. So I would build the photo around that window rather than trying to include too many things that are away from that window. So the flower pot, the bench, the yellow, those things all feel a little bit distracting to me. I think the photo is about the blue and the little opening in the blue, the window.
When I looked at the shot, I was just thinking that, man, I would have taken 100 abstracts in
Yes.
here. You look at the patterns on the water, and they're just, and I would get rid of any kind of ground and focus my camera so that those little patterns in the window and the clouds and things that are twisting and turning, and the tree that is reflecting off is probably would be my entire shot, because Raina's right. The colors, the window, and the abstract patterns in the foreground are awesome. I mean, just stunning.
Yeah, and it looks like there's a little bit of movement on the water there. You can see those ripples, and I would have done the exact thing Jay was talking about, and maybe even throw some filters on and tried to get a long exposure and get some movement in those leaves too. That can make some really interesting looking abstracts too when you fill the frame with that sort of stuff. And those colours are just beautiful. Awesome.
Yeah, and Johnny, what would happen if you actually focused on one of those leaves and you used the shallow depth of field? You know, right near that opening, right near to the window in the blue building opening, and you focused on one of those leaves and everything else was blurred. I think that might even work too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so many options for this location. Awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, this would be a fun place to play. Yeah, and of course you all know that my photo would be zoomed in on the window, all blue except for the window, and I might even try and get the leaves out of the way. Or maybe just one leaf in the window. Simplify, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not one leaf in the window. I want one leaf on the blue, so it's a compliment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. As you wish.
Anybody else have anything to add?
Yeah, I would say I think the processing in this photo is quite nice. It's a really natural kind of feel to it.
Yeah.
Positionally, my eyes are going right to the edge of that frame to the right, and I'm just kind of left thinking, I want a little bit more on that side, a little bit more. So as you were saying earlier, yeah, turn a house into a bit of a focus and maybe centralize it up a bit, because I've got that feeling. I want to see what's to the right of that image, so to speak.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I think there's a lot happening on the left that doesn't add that much to the image. The house, I think, is where it's at, and keeping the framing just around the house is I think it would improve the image overall.
Yeah, but and on a positive note as well, I think the processing of the colours here are really nice.
Just gorgeous.
Not
Absolutely.
overdone or not burnt, or quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very,
I agree
very
completely. Nice. Really beautiful. Yeah. So nice job, Oleg. So, all right, and I think, oh no, look at this, we have one more. This is Ugo Che. Oh, Ugo has actually been on our show before, and he has some beautiful work, and this is no exception. I think this is breathtaking. I just love it. You know, he's taken the reflections, he's turned them upside down, he's given this completely otherworldly look to this landmark. I think it's beautiful. And he did mention that there's a crane up there over the building, and the reason it's there is because they are actually still building on this castle today, which is pretty remarkable. They're not fixing it, they're still building it, even though it's, I don't remember what he said, 100 years old, more than that? Anyway.
Yeah. I think it's working on public funding, I think, that building.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess it's kind of being trickle-built and based on how much funding a year or something along those lines that they get. But I love it. It's fantastic. To me, it looks like a painting.
Yeah.
Exactly. I was thinking the same thing, Clint. When I looked at it, I kind of just sat there and stared at it. I wanted to figure out what it was, like an abstract Monet or something.
Yeah.
Painting, and I thought this was masterfully done. I mean,
and it's hard to kind of get this variety about such a popular, iconic type of thing when, for example, you've got this stereotype photo that you always get, and it's hard to kind of get other compositions like that, but they've taken that and done something different with this standard photo which you see everywhere on the internet, and I think that's difficult, trying to do something different with such an icon, and they've achieved it here. So
yeah. Yeah,
so
I
well
agree.
done.
Yeah, I love this image, guys, and I think, Johnny, we talked about it in the monthly roundup when we did the Visual Wilderness monthly roundup, and it's just fantastic. Just love it. I love abstracts. I love art when people create a photo that's not just a photograph. It's actual art. It's their interpretation of what they want the viewer to see. Love it.
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah, really nice. So, okay, now I'm sure that's the last one. You were back to Andrews, so let me stop sharing my screen here. And so what is on our agenda next, Mr. Patel?
So the next on our agenda is on Monday. Like I said, Lightroom expert Johnny Spencer is going to be here sharing all his tips and tricks. I'm assuming that Michael and Clint may not be able to make it because they have to work on Australia.
Yeah.
But we'll send them an invite anyways. If you guys find yourself on a lunch break, just join us. Otherwise, it'll be all Johnny show.
Yeah. I have to say, we are very lucky tonight to have Clint and Michael with us because, you know, the time zones are, you know, I don't know if you guys realize that Jay and I are in the United States on Eastern time, and the other three here are all, or sorry, the other four are all in Australia, and the time zones are ridiculous. So, you know, it's like tomorrow there already, and yeah, they should all be at work. So.
Yeah, sorry guys, Australia is a little bit ahead of the United States. Yeah, we are.
Yeah. We're a little bit behind, you know, a little bit slow here.
Sure. Whatever you say, Brent.
Yeah, I was telling these guys that I had to cut my surf short to come onto the show, but I'll get back out to the beach after this. It's a beautiful day out there.
Sorry.
You know,
sorry for you, man.
Do you hear the tiny violin? Yeah.
So I'm going to tell everybody that the access to the assignment, this is the last assignment we are going to do unless we get other feedback. We will post some challenges on regular basis, once a month or something. We won't do any critiques. Just let the members enjoy the challenges. or even show and tell by members themselves. So we'll say, okay, this month show and tell is waterfall shots or mountain shots or travel shots, and then people can put in their stuff and tell us how they created it, where their location was, and some interesting stories about it.
Yep, and share some peer reviews as usual on Visual Wilderness. But we do have other things in the works, and we're being very hush hush about it for now. We don't want to say anything just yet, wink wink. But we're kind of looking forward to what we're going to do next. Good job, Johnny. Yeah. Johnny's over there. I can do it. Yeah, we do have some big stuff coming.
Yes.
So stick around. Stay tuned.
All right, so I think we're going to go ahead and terminate the broadcast. It was nice having everybody here, including our Australia team. Look forward to some more articles from everybody, and see you guys next week on Monday. Okay, bye everybody.
See you guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye.